Hello students, myself Sooryaraj, Faculty of Physics. Today we are going to discuss about a force. In this board you can see a figure. In that figure it is clear that a blade is floating over that liquid. Yes, a blade, you can see a blade which is floating over a liquid. Why? Why the blade is floating over a liquid? Yes, there is a force behind that. We are going to discuss the force. The name is buoyant force. The name of force behind this physical principle, the physical phenomenon is nothing but buoyant force. Due to the presence of such a force which is called as buoyant force, the blade is able to float over that liquid. Yeah. If we are trying to immerse a body completely or partially inside a fluid, the fluid will exert an upward force on that body. That force is technically called as buoyant force. Here, this water is exerting an upward force on that blade. That force is called as buoyant force. Due to the presence of such a force, the blade is floating over that liquid. Why the blade is floating over that liquid? Yeah, due to the presence of a force which is called as buoyant force. Now we are going to find several experiences from our everyday life which is due to buoyant force.
Buoyant force. What is buoyant force? Let's understand the meaning of the term buoyant force by doing simple experiment. 1. Take a bucket full of water. Try to push an inverted glass bottle into the bucket. What do you experience? When we try to push an inverted glass bottle into a bucket full of water, we have to apply downward force. It means bottle experiencing upward force. The upward force is due to force exerted by water on the bottle containing the enclosed air opposing the downward motion of the bottle. 2. Take an empty plastic bottle closed with an airtight stopper. Put it in the bucket full of water. What happens? When an empty plastic bottle closed with an airtight stopper is put in a bucket full of water, it floats in water. Now, try to push the bottle into the water. Is it possible to push it easily to the bottom of the bucket? Why? It is not easy to push the bottle to the bottom of the bucket. This is because an upward force exerted by the water on the bottle opposes the downward motion of the bottle. Now, release the bottle. If the bottle is now released, it rises to the surface of the water and floats on it. In above examples, the upward force experienced by an object immersed in any liquid is called the upthrust or buoyant force. This force acts opposite to force of gravity.
In the previous video, it is clear that when we are trying to immerse an empty bottle into that liquid, it is not an easy job. We are exerting a huge amount of force for that. Why it happened? It is due to the buoyant force. Due to the presence of buoyant force, it is not easy to immerse that bottle into that liquid. Yes, due to the presence of buoyant force, it is not easy to immerse that bottle into the water.
Have you ever drawn water from a well? You must have noticed that the bucket of water appears lighter underwater but heavier as it comes out of water. The submerged object appears to lose weight in liquid due to upthrust or buoyant force. The property of liquid to exert an upward force on an object immersed in it is called buoyancy.
In this video, it is clear that it is very easy to lift any object or a stone inside that water. Why? It is very easy to lift that stone from the water, from the bottom of that water body. Why? It is due to the presence of, that force. Water is exerting an upward lift, upward force on that stone. So it is very easy to lift that object from the water. Now we have discussed the 3 examples of buoyant force or 3 applications of buoyant force. The first one is the blade can easily float over a liquid. The blade can easily float over a liquid. It is due to the presence of buoyant force. The second one is it is not easy to immerse an empty bottle into liquid. It is not an easy job. Why? It is also due to the presence of buoyant force. And the third application from our everyday life is it is very easy to lift any objects from the water body. These 3 applications are due to the presence of buoyant force. Now, by the next video, we are going to discuss calculation of buoyant force. How can we calculate buoyant force? By using a spring balance. So, thank you. See you in next class. Thank you.